Hello, welcome to the show. Have we got plenty for you? We're going to find about ballroom dancing, the history here in Perth, Western Australia. And also we're going to go over to the Rhein-Donau Club, or the Rhein-Donau Club, I think is perhaps how I'm supposed to say it. And that's just some of what we have on the program right now. But first, it's time for ballroom dancing. Here he is, Jamie Gilkison. How are you, Jamie?
John Lewis, how are you?
Very well. Do you know, I think the first time I ever got to be a DJ was when your dad said, you've got quite a nice voice, why don't you become a DJ? And I said, oh, thanks a lot.
I think it was something like that, but I don't think your voice was quite that high.
Oh, I seem to recall it, but anyway, that's very nice. Jamie, why do people like ballroom dancing?
I think they just... I don't know, Roy, really. I mean, it's the music, it's the chance to get on the dance floor with a new person that you might be, dying to have a dance with. And in any
Put your arms around them?
Absolutely, and in any other, perhaps, social situation, that opportunity might not come up.
So let me get this right. In ballroom dancing, in social dancing, I can walk up to a charming young lady, say, would you like to dance, and put my arms around her.
And I would say 9 out of 10 times she'll say yes.
All right, I think we've just sold a whole lot of people on that idea. Is it a good way to meet people?
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that other point, I mean, there's nothing against the ladies asking a guy to dance, so we sort of dispel that whole thing as well. But yeah, look, I think it's a great way for people to meet, a great way for people to meet each other, for sure, because, I mean, if you're holding on to someone in a dance for 3 minutes of a song, or say a song that's about 3 minutes long, you're going to talk to them. You're not just going to mosey around the dance floor and not say anything to them, are you? So, it's a great way of meeting people, for sure.
Now, what about your dancing history, the Gilkison dancing history? Because that's a name that's synonymous with ballroom dancing, and of course, let me get the relationship right. Your cousin, Jason?
That's correct, Jason, yep.
Now, he knows one or two things about dancing. What kind of a champion is he?
Well, Jason and his partner Peter Roby, they were world champions, world amateur champions, and won competitions all over the world. Since then, they've gone on mainly into choreography, and they do all sorts of shows around the world. But
did I hear rightly that, I don't know, maybe I've got this right, that one of them was involved in choreographing something for Elton John?
That's right. I mean, it was a show for Elton John, and then it became Burn the Floor. It was an idea, actually, really, from Elton John and Elton's manager. It then became Burn the Floor, and it then became a smaller type of show, which has been on in Perth recently, called Floor Play, and that's in China now.
So, can you get me to meet Elton John?
No.
Now, what about your family? Does it go back as far as Sam Gilkison or more?
Well, it goes back a lot further than Sam, but I only know back as far as Sam, of course, my grandfather. He started the first dance hall here in Perth in 1931, or I should correct that, it wasn't the first dance hall, but he started his business, Gilkison's, in 1931, and I'm pleased to say that we're the only ones still going as far as all those ones that were around back then, and I think it's about our 76th year.
You are kidding, 76 years?
If my maths serves me correctly, yeah.
So I guess all those people have been coming to dancing, learning ballroom dancing all through the years, and you must have seen, I guess if you're meeting people, there must have been quite some relationships develop over that time.
I would hate to put a number on it, but the amount of my friends and that I went to school with, or friends of friends and that sort of thing, that have said, oh, my parents have met at Gilks, or even one of the ladies at the bank that we go to, she met her husband there, and so yeah, we hear that a lot, all the time.
Now, how do I learn to dance? Well, I mean, I know, but why don't you tell us, how do you learn to dance?
Oh, well, there's many places around town. I mean, obviously we'd like you to call Gilkison's, sure. But look, there's lots of places around out in the suburbs, and they're all pretty good. I mean, we teach you the cha-cha, which is a Latin dance. There's lots of Latin dances, in fact, we teach. Ballroom, there's the ballroom side of it, like your traditional ballroom, like your waltz and your quick step and those sorts of dances, which I guess people instantly recognised as ballroom dancers, but a lot of the Latin stuff, which is very popular now, things like cha-cha, samba, rumba, merengue and things like that. So, yeah, there is that sort of crossover side of it there as well.
Now, here's a question for you. Is dancing a sport?
No. I don't think it's a sport.
I agree with you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Mind you, though, you work as hard as an athlete.
Well, and they have done studies to prove, actually they did studies at the AIS, I think it's in Canberra or wherever it is, that's where they did the study. And I know they did some studies about 10 or so years ago at the WA Institute of Sport, and they worked out that a competitive dancer does use as much energy as an athlete. And I mean, actually it's something we hear from a lot of people too, and that people do actually do it not just for the social aspect, because it is a good way of keeping fit and doing something that's perhaps aerobic in that you're dancing, but it's not like doing aerobics as such, or like a pump class or something, you know?
I know, but you sure do get hot, because I remember many times going ballroom dancing and we'd say, can you turn the air conditioners on? And you say, they're on as much as they can be, but all these people, these dynamos creating heat, just made the place hot.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to run around a dance floor for 3.5, 4 minutes and then stop for 10 seconds and say, hi, how are you? And then run around for another 3.5 minutes, the place is going to get pretty warm pretty quick. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really think of dancing as a sport. I think it's beautiful. I think it really is an art form in itself, although I'm not taking away from its physical attributes either.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Here's Jamie on the spot. Jamie, I know that you're not just someone who loves to dance, but you've actually got some accreditation. You've actually won some awards.
Yes.
Come on, fess up.
Oh no, I've won a few competitions in my time, and when I was a kid, did a lot of competition dancing, and went over east, and we competed in the Australian Championships, and it was great fun. In fact. It was interesting. A lot of my school friends often thought, "Oh, what do you want to dance for?" and that sort of thing. But what was good was when I went to school dances, I got to dance with all the girls, and they would just be sitting there. So I remember when I was about 16, they all wanted to start to learn. They thought this dancing caper was quite a good idea. And actually, we're finding that with a lot of the younger ones now as well, as it's come back in vogue. And I know I do speak on behalf of a lot of the other dancing studios around Perth, that they're hearing the same things from the younger, I'm talking 18, 19, 20-year-old people. Yeah.
Well, the truth is, Jamie, and this is it on the record, the reason I learned to dance was to meet girls.
Well, you were pretty popular, John.
Thanks, Jamie. Right, well, we seem to be right out of time. Thanks very much. Jamie Gilkison joining us, talking all about ballroom dancing. Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, John. Been a pleasure.
The history of ballroom dancing, I love it. You know, I used to go 3 times a week, and then for a while I was going 4 times a week. It just gets into your blood for some reason. So if you're a bit of a ballroom dance fan, maybe you might like to send us a text or a letter or something about your story, and perhaps we might be able to get you on the program. Ballroom dancing made a man of me. A lot of fun. After the break, we're going to find out what's happening at the German Club, something about an Oktoberfest coming up. Welcome back. Do you like the Oktoberfest? I do. We're going to find out about that and more. Oh, while I remember, if you'd like to find out more about the program, go to our website, which is www.johnlewis.upandaway.com. That's where you can get all the inside information and find out more about our great guests. Now, let's go to the Rhein-Donau Club. Well, we're going to talk to Julie right here. This is Julie. Hello, Julie.
Hi, John.
Nice to see you, and you look fantastic. These are your performance clothes, right?
Yes, they are. That's right.
That's a lucky one for me. I've been caught out like that before. Julie, you look fantastic. Now, do you have to be German to be involved in the Rhein-Donau Club?
No, actually you don't. Everybody's welcome to come there. A lot of people do have German, Austrian or Swiss background, but we certainly like to see people from all backgrounds come and visit us.
Now, I have heard there is one special requirement. You must love food and drinking.
Well, that does help, and there's a lot of really delicious food to have down there, German, sort of traditional German meals, and lots of terrific German beer and schnapps, if you happen to like that.
Oh, I do too. And of course, when we say drinking, we're not just always talking about alcoholic. Don't think we are talking about alcoholic, but there are so many beverages to enjoy there, and all the foods are wonderful. And what I like is you have my favourite quantity. Big quantities.
That's true.
Now, the Oktoberfest, tell us about that one.
Well, the Oktoberfest starts on the 5th of October and runs all the way through to the 27th. And every Friday and Saturday night, between those dates, there'll be entertainment, there'll be music, there'll be folk dancing, there'll be beer stein holding competitions.
Oh, now I like the beer stein holding contest, and we've got a poster here as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about the beer stein contest.
Oh, that's really interesting. We get the guys and the girls up, and quite often in the last couple of years the girls have actually been winning. So you have to get up and you hold a beer stein. We fill it with water because we'd hate to see any beer wasted, and you have to hold up your arm, and the person that holds it up the longest is the winner and ends up getting some beer to fill up their beer stein.
And it's so much fun to watch because everyone's there cheering, and there's techniques on how to do it.
Yeah, I've actually practiced it myself, and I can't go longer than about 45 seconds. So I'm not too good in the technique stakes, but some people can go for quite a few minutes. Yeah.
And what about the dancing? Tell us about the dancing that I've seen people do there too, because you learn how to do it.
Yes, well, there's a folk dancing group that I belong to, and we perform there, and you get to see the wood chopper, where the guys are chopping the wood, hopefully in time with the music, and there's lots of turning, there's lots of waltzing, polkas, and of course there's a band playing, so people can get up and have a dance themselves.
And you get families there too, right?
Yes, particularly on the Sunday, there's a family day, so people can bring their children, and there's a shooting booth as well for air rifle shooting, so you can shoot at flowers and targets, and on the Sunday children can win prizes.
How much fun is that? I reckon that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
And are you often amazed of how good some people are? I mean, I don't want to be sexist, but sometimes do the girls perform better than the boys?
I think maybe they do sometimes, but we do have a few regulars there that seem to, get the bullseyes more often than not.
Now, how about you? How did you get involved in the Rhein-Donau Club?
I actually got involved because my background is German, and when I was a child I really liked the idea of doing the folk dancing, so that's how I started. So it's a long time ago now.
And do you have any people that are so far removed from Germany and you think, how did they get in here? But of course they're in and having fun.
They are. We've got, in the dance group itself, we've got Danish, we've got Australians, we've got one who is half Austrian, half Greek. So there's a very big variety of people there. We've had Italians, all sorts of people like to join.
Remember, I met one fellow there and I said, what part of Germany are you from? And he says, and he was as Scottish as could be.
Yep, that would be Bruce. Yes, very Scottish. He looks good in leather pants, though.
What do you call it, lederhosen?
Lederhosen, that's right, yes.
Now, if we want to get involved with the Rhein-Donau Club, how do we get on down there? How do we find them?
Well, the club's situated at 110 North Lake Road, Mairie, and you can find them in the phone book under the Rhein-Donau Club, and phone up and maybe book some tickets for the Oktoberfest, because it does get booked out fairly quickly.
And I guess I should ask an obvious question. You speak English there, right?
Of course you can speak English, absolutely.
And so we'll still understand everything that's going on.
Absolutely.
And how important do you think a club is like this for the community?
I think it's wonderful because I think Australia being as multicultural as it is, it's very interesting to see the different traditions, and it's really lovely to see other people from other, Australians and other ethnicities embracing the cultures and enjoying them as much as we do.
I like it, and I like that you've taken the time to come and see us today. And will you come back again sometime?
Oh, look, I would come back again any time to see you, John.
Julie's a superstar, and I love your dress too. Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
That's Julie from the Rhein-Donau Club. Sounds like a great place to be, and I've been there when they've had their Oktoberfest, and I can tell you it's a lot of fun. And if you have a community group that you would like to see on the TV, just drop me a correspondence because I'd love to find out more. You go to our website if you like, our website, www.johnlewis.upandaway.com. That's all you do. After the break, we've got a surprise for you and me. Welcome back to the show. A few people said to me in the street earlier in the week, does that make sense? They said, John, how do we get in contact with you? How do we find you? I said, you can send a text, and if you send a text, I read them and I comprehend them. But people say, do you respond to texts? Well, we don't respond via the text, but we do put the information up on our website. That's one of the things you can do, so you can go to the website to find that out. But if you'd like to send a text or a letter or any other kind of correspondence, here's how you do it.
John loves to receive your letters and emails, so send your letter to Post Office Box 6721 East Perth 6892, or you can email. Maybe even view his website. Back to you, John.
It's that easy. Now, have a look at this. Go. Ronald Bauer joins us. Ronald's back. I think last time we spoke to you, Ronald, we were talking about personal indemnity. Is that right?
Yes, I was mentioning that it's probably best if people insure themselves against accidents.
And it doesn't cost that much to do it, and it could be a wise idea. So you may want to check that out maybe with your insurance company and get some advice on that, but it certainly seems like it's a good idea. But Ronald, what I wanted to talk to you today about was people who decide to write out a legal document without the need of an expensive lawyer. So we're not going to do that. We're going to write on a piece of paper and we're going to use legalese that we've seen on the telly and what our family have talked about, and they've written out this document, but do they get themselves into more trouble?
Not necessarily. It's always better if people put things in writing, as we say, get it in writing. So I would always encourage people to write documents, that is, produce documents that contain the terms of whatever they're trying to agree to, particularly if it's meant to be enforceable, and if there's money involved, then yes, use writing. But I think you're about to ask me another question.
Yes, well, the but was, of course, and I think you probably know what my question is. The kind of language we use, do we use straight talk, or do we use the party of the third party, of the fourth party, of the first party, to the party that I was referring to earlier?
Plain English is definitely the way to go. There are principles that the law uses in interpreting documents, because sometimes disputes arise or someone changes their attitude to a deal that they've entered into, and they look for ways of trying to get out of it or to interpret it differently. It comes down to, in those situations, a matter of reading the document and trying to find what is the natural meaning of the terminology that they've used. Courts can, in most cases, receive evidence about what they were trying to say or what was the subject matter of the agreement, and so that can help to resolve uncertainties.
So I guess this is yet another reason why we should have the clarity when we're writing out these kind of documents and make sure they really do say what we want them to say. Because I guess one of the things I'm really worried about is when we use these terms that we think will make things clearer by using a legalese type terminology, the kind of legal jargon, we can lead ourselves for misinterpretation.
Possibly. Some industries produce documents all the time. For example, the real estate industry, when you think about it, sales representatives are writing up contracts, very important contracts, every day, hopefully. The form they use usually is a standard form that's already printed, but there are places where details that are particular to the transaction can be added. Sometimes those lead to a bit of drama, but usually not. I would say that the more money that's involved, or the more important it is to someone, the more important it is to use writing. And where we are talking about anything that's unusual, if there's something that's other than straightforward, then it will probably be a good idea to put it in writing, and maybe to get someone with some legal knowledge to have a hand in drafting it.
Sounds like a good idea to me. Now, Ronald, you're there, you're sitting in front of your boss, and he says, here's a contract or a document, read it, sign it. Do you have to do it right there, or how can you say to the boss, thank you, do you mind if I take this home and read it overnight, or how much time can you take it? Because it's a fairly intimidating position.
People are entitled to a reasonable time. And what is a reasonable time? Common sense prevails. And the laws protect the employees. And, there's at present all sorts of debate about work choices, or whatever it's now called, that it's no longer called work choices. But the bottom line is that if anyone is put under pressure to sign a contract, then it isn't really an agreement. You can only be held to something that you've signed if you've been able to use your own judgment and discretion, and it is truly your decision to sign it. Pressure diminishes the enforceability and validity of something, even though it might have your signature on it.
So it might be safe and fair to say that if you get a document, to ask for the opportunity of reading it overnight and then coming back the next day, that would be most times fair and reasonable.
Yes, not only to read it, but to obtain clarification of anything that you're uncertain about, if you discover you are uncertain about something once you've actually had a chance to read it. And so you might need more than overnight, because you might want to go and talk to some kind of an expert, a industrial advisor of some kind, if it's a work-related contract, or someone else, depending on what the topic of the document is.
I like it, and I like you for explaining it too. Thank you, Ronald.
You're most welcome, John.
How about that? And we've run right out of time. I don't know why we always run out of time. It's been great having your company, and I look forward to more next time with me. See you then.